Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a GeekVerse review. I guess I'm still the pig in shit Snail. Go check out our newscast to find out what that is, because it's a great day. And I'm joined by the one and only
Carl Taylor Field.
Carl Taylor Field. Oh boy, we got stuff to talk about. So, yeah, you would not guess it at all from the names of this, but luckily you probably jumped on the episode and clicked on it. We are about to review Smile. Now we got an early screening here in Kelowna, so as you know how it's going to work. If you're watching, actually no, the YouTube ones will be separated. There's going to be a non-spoilers because it still doesn't come out for a few days, so you get non-spoilers. We'll spoil nothing of it, and then on Friday the actual spoilers edition will come out. So if you've seen it, you can come check it out. So no worries that are non-spoilers. We're not going to give away anything that you don't already know or have seen about the movie and stuff like that. So Taylor, where can they find all this stuff? Because we got just a plethora of stuff dropping this week. When this drops, there's 3 episodes dropping: a Smile review, an Andor review, and a newscast. It's there's GV juice all over the place.
Yeah, well, ladies and gentlemen, you can find us with your internet connection in the search bar. GeekVerse.ca is our home base. GeekVerseCast is our Twitter. GeekVerse on our Facebook.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, all the links are down below. Where to find us, where to talk to us, where to listen to us, watch us, the whole shebang. And then most importantly, head over to Patreon. There's lots of stuff there. Exclusive episodes, ad-free episodes, early episodes, voting in polls, behind-the-scenes updates, things like that. Most importantly, though, you want to go to that Patreon producer tier because right now you get every single benefit, but you can go and get the deal for the next few days and jump on that Extra Life Lord of the Rings Geek First theme shirt. Proceeds of that go towards charity, and you also get every single benefit. You get to pick a movie to review, tons of good stuff, and you get some cool merch. So make sure you jump on that. And speaking of stuff, if you are looking for, if you want to be making other people smile, you want to be manscaping up your situation, that's why you want to go on manscaped.com and use the GVPOD and get 20%, or the podcast code GVPOD and get 20% off and free worldwide shipping. So, Taylor Field, what are your non-spoiler thoughts about Smile?
Yeah, so I saw trailers for this. I really didn't know what I was going to think of it. And I went in, honestly, I think with kind of relatively low expectations. I will say, like, it definitely made me jump a few times. And my wife added to one of those
Yes.
jumps. But I found myself kind of like laughing. And this is another thing too. I feel like you know what kind of movie you're getting into, and this isn't spoilers, when the beginning, like literally the first like pre-credits is rolling before the film, and it's silence, and you get that music cue. It's like
Are you talking about when it actually showed that? I think you're talking about the title card.
maybe it was not that. That was something else. Oh my god. Check for epilepsy or something like that. But like,
Yeah, there wasn't even like this is a. I don't even think this should be a spoiler. This should be something that should known. If you have absolutely how they just showed the title card of Smile, I legitimately think you could be in danger. I'm not even making a joke. Like it was a lot for me, and it's loud noises, it's flashing, it's red, and I don't care if I'm spoiling this. It's the word Smile. It's little and it starts to get bigger and bigger, but it's flashing a lot. So I feel like there was in the rating or something, but as far as like before the movie started, nothing at all. And
yeah,
it
nothing.
it caught me off guard. And I was worried for people if they did have it.
Yeah, it was that was something else. That was something else. But yeah, what I was referring to was when you see like what is that, the company? Is it Paramount? And it's like the stars go around. I think it's Paramount. Yeah,
I know
and
what
it
you're
does
talking
that.
about.
And it's like
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, I'm seeing like a Insidious movie or something like that. Like just
like
it
right
has
off the
that
bat,
signature.
creepy music. But it's just like I'll say it's creepy music, but it's more just like I don't mean to be mean for whoever composed it, but I feel like generic creepy music, like stuff you've heard before. It's like, oh, I've seen this movie before. Here we
It
go.
really is. Like it is definitely generic. And then it's funny because there are even hues of like, if you've listened to any of the new Chucky movies, the score in there has this like toy
If
theme that's
you've
horror
listened
vibe.
to any of the new Chucky
Yeah,
movies.
and this movie has that too in the score. Like it's something else. But I digress. So when we got this movie, I feel like, yeah, I went in with low expectations, and coming out of the theater, to me it felt like, I shouldn't compare it to, is making a comparison to other horror movies, is that spoiler, would you say?
I don't think so. I think if you're kind of comparing it as far as maybe thematically what it's kind of like, or even
Okay.
because I'm gonna do that in mine. It's non-spoilers, so.
Okay. Well, I'd say it felt like The Ring meets Drag Me to Hell. That's my
Mm.
comparisons, I'd say. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Well, yeah, you kind of took the words out of my mouth. Well, I was gonna say though, did like you've talked about some things. You didn't say if you liked it or not. That's what I don't know. Or do you not
Um,
know?
I don't know if I'd recommend someone to see this in the theater. I'll say
Mm.
that. I don't think I need to see it again. I can absolutely say it's not taken over like my number one spot for best horror of the year. Like I have that firmly associated to another horror movie. Go check out Barbarian in a review.
Mm.
But yeah, I think this did some things that I did enjoy, and the way they filmed certain things I really did like as well. But this isn't a spoiler. Again, turning the camera upside down is not like a new cinematic like take, and by any means,
They
like
do that a
it's
lot here, and
they
and
do it a
sometimes I don't think it
lot.
was really for other than we're just gonna turn the camera upside down, because it's like not even a big spoiler. But I feel like there's one point where there's a car driving, they turn the camera upside down, and I thought they were gonna like make it look like the road was a smile, but they really didn't. It was just a road. I was like, oh, okay. Like, and I think it kind of curved, but like if it was shot, it wasn't shot well enough to look like a smile, if that's what they're going for. So.
Well, I think maybe that's. I was kept thinking like, oh, is it like let's turn that frown upside down kind of like symbolism?
Mm.
I don't know. I guess
Kinda,
I,
yeah.
I guess I will say like I don't. I personally don't have, as far as I know, like any mental kind of well, I won't say that's actually more spoilers. I can't get
Okay.
into that.
So oh boy, I don't know where to start with this one. I think Taylor is right as far as the Ring and Drag Me Hell is a great comparison, and I try to be as nice as possible. But to me, this is like if it's those movies, but done very, 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 very poorly. I don't know for sure, but this might be my least favorite movie of the year. I hated being in that theater. Now I had a great time because Taylor Madison. This was before Taylor jumped, and I started joking around like, "What is this amateur hour?" Like I couldn't believe he jumped, and it was a huge jump. And Madison, did you get spilled? Because at one point there was a cup holder, had a cup there. Madison got so scared, her arm went flying, and she hit the cup out of the cup holder.
Oh
Was
yeah,
her?
that disconnected from planet Earth. It was in the air, and thankfully it was empty. It was just ice cubes in there, but fuck, it scared the shit out of me. I don't even remember the scene. Like I knew something was coming, and I saw like a second
I
of it, but
remember.
then
I'll tell on
she
spoilers.
freaked
Yeah.
out, and like, oh my god, yeah, I was recovering myself.
So I had a good time there. And I think, unfortunately, like I had a good time because there's just some stuff in this movie that's so outrageous, but it wasn't outrageous enough to be a so bad it's so good. You've seen this movie done hundreds of times. To me, this felt like when you go to Blockbuster and there's like a rent four movies for $10 and you have three great ones and you don't know this fourth one. It's like, sure, let's throw this in the pile. And it's some straight to DVD horror movie you've never heard of or seen. That's what this is to me. Now, I had hope because every time I saw the trailers and the concept, I thought, man, this movie's like a truth or dare. Like any of those like really early Blumhouse stuff where it's like, okay, they got a fun gimmick that can get some young people to go see it, but when you see the movie, there's not much there. Because the way of the marketing of like them dropping those little teasers and not dropping links on YouTube, and they waited a really while to put this out here, I thought, okay, with the marketing being so smart, maybe there's a chance the movie is that. And it's not. It sucks because I actually think the protagonist, the actress, I'll find out her name because I swear I've seen her in something before. I think she does a good job acting wise. I think they just make her character so frustrating on every turn. She is just like what Scary Movie would like parody as far as like what you don't want a character to do. She does it at every single turn. There's one scene in the middle of this movie that just has to do with the birthday that was the turning point to me where I went, man, what the fuck am I watching right now? And not in a Midsummer Barbarian sort of way where it's like, oh, this is really great. It's just like, oh no. I felt embarrassed being in the theater. I did. Like I feel like these are the movies that give horror a bad rap. These are the movies that I hate to say this because I don't want to, and I'm like someone that we want to make movies and stuff. It just felt lazy. It just felt like people they watched a bunch of movies with a similar type of or It Follows is another good comparison too, where it's just like a movie where something is following characters. They watched them all and just put those scenes in the movie, but they look a little different with new actors. You know, it feels like it's a remake of a movie, but it's not. Yeah, I was not a fan of this. Not a fan of the main characters' decisions. I felt that every turn you knew what was going to happen. Midway through, I knew the exact ending of the movie. It's just like you're waiting for it to throw some sort of curveball, and it never does. And to me, what is the most egregious, what I absolutely disdain about most, but to me, this was such a like I think around the time when horror movies like they always got bad reps, right? Like, oh, they make people want to have sex and watch porn, like in those ages. But in the 2000s, it was like, oh, they're just cheap, slashers, or cheap low budget bad films to make a quick buck, right? And I feel like this is this a little bit, but I feel like in the 2000s and the aughts specifically, those were about the movies that were just focused on jump scares, no plot, no character, just loud noise, loud noise. What I would describe this movie is that moment in Anchorman when Steve Carell's character just goes loud noises. That's this movie. It's just constantly, and I don't care. I'm spoiling like mini spoiler stuff, but it's like a horn, a phone, a door, someone speaking. Anytime it's like a meeting are at a 6 and they want a jump scare, it turns it to like a 20, and nothing's happening. And they'll do it within like 5 minutes each other, and it's just annoying. It's just cheap. It just makes you, even myself, like I flinch, but it's not in a way where like whether you want to talk about Barbarian or you want to talk about like Hereditary, like there's imagery in those things that stick with you. You go, man, that is just like a haunting image. That doesn't happen here. Maybe there's something near the end that's like a little creepy, and I liked that, but it was just creepy because it was grotesque. I just hated the usage of the jump scare because it happens so much, and it's one of those where you know it's gonna happen. And I was hoping it's gonna be one of those smart movies where it's they show a door and it's gonna close, and you're like, okay, they're gonna do something smart to like maybe subvert our expectations. Nope, they show you something, and then it's just the lowest common denominator stuff. So I like, and before I throw it over to Taylor for recommendation, I can't recommendate this at all for at least a theater. I don't think a theater experience because I don't think it's worth the time. I can't recommend you paying for it. Maybe on VOD at home, sure, I could see that because if you're bored there, and it's a minor spoiler again, but this movie is just riddled with the main character explaining to 18 different people what the plot of the movie is. And it's just like, I don't, because I thought it was an hour and a half. I gotta look how long.
Did not feel like an hour and a half.
It felt like Return the King.
Every like 2 steps forward, it would just be like literally 2 steps back. Like, what the fuck?
It was just, we were constantly like going back to the very beginning, and it's just like we've established this. There's characters that are just dropped. Oh, I gotta find it because okay, smile. It's 2 hours, so that makes sense. But it felt longer than 2 hours to me. It did not. It moved at a snail's pace, and that's just because of that. It's just reiterating the same thing over and over. Like I think this movie could have easily been an hour and a half. Even under that, there's some things you could have cut. So, yeah, I don't know if it's the worst one because we reviewed Texas Chainsaw Massacre this year, and that was pretty bad. So I'd have to think about it. But even Texas Chainsaw, I guess, is like, well, at least I got that cool bus kill. Like this, I don't really know what I got other than like I had a good time with you guys because it was just funny stuff going on. And it was, and this is where because sometimes I know we talk about this like Jurassic World where like everyone was like, Taylor, it's dead quiet and the pillow comes out and I'm laughing, right? In our theater, there was moments where other people were laughing, but not the uncomfortable. There was uncomfortable laughing because there was like the jump scare, but just times where people were just like, "What the fuck's going on?" Like it did not feel like, "Oh, this is working." It felt like this is kind of cheesy. So I am not super like disappointed with it because I didn't have super high hopes, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad going in. And yeah, I wish I didn't see this movie. I wish I waited till home. And you know what? They did their job though. Good marketing got me in the theater. I will, and actually, don't think it's that well or poorly reviewed either. But Taylor Field, would you recommend this to people? And if you would, who are the people you would recommend it to?
I wouldn't recommend it for theaters.
Wow.
Like it just doesn't make sense to me to go to a theater to see this. Because
Smile has an 81% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's only reviewed by 21 people. So let's see. But still, oh my goodness, what's the average score here?
I went in with low expectations, and I feel like I came out with those expectations still pretty low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a 6.5 average. Okay.
Yeah, it's just something I think you should save your money. I think you really, really should.
Especially you got lots of movies coming up. Me and Taylor are talking about this like October, November. You got Black Panther, you got Black Adam, you got Amsterdam, you got even Babylon. You know, like there's stuff where it's just like, and that's where I know people are gonna. I can hear it already. Like, oh, you like a lot of superhero stuff. Like, what is the difference between this and those? Like, a lot of times you meet the hero, there's a villain that's similar, there's origin, whatever. There's those similar beats, right? And 100%. And I wouldn't find if there were similar beats to this as far as yeah, it's pulling from the ring, pulling from Drag Me from Hell, pulling from It Follows. But that's the thing where like It Follows, it has a similar beat to the ring of like, okay, something's being passed on, right? But then there's changes, there's differences, there's characters you latch onto, or there's a twist to it, where this just doesn't feel like there's much of a twist than other than it's people fucking smiling. You know, like that is the crux of the movie. And it's like, you find this scary, you know, and it's just and I do think they showed too much in the trailer because there's a couple times where I was just kind of waiting for things and they would happen. So anything else non-spoilers you want to say? I was gonna say, did Madison enjoy her time?
God, what'd she say she would give it? I think she said she'd give it like a. It wasn't a high rating. Like it was definitely like a passing grade over 50%, but she definitely got scared a few times, and I think she relatively enjoyed herself. But there was some stuff that was just like visually. I know she doesn't like and care for seeing this kind of stuff, and it's like, fuck, this is just like I know what they're going for, but it's like, god damn, this is something else.
There was one point where I knew Taylor knew Madison wasn't gonna like something, so he like leaned over and like grabbed her leg. It's like, uh oh, whatever's about to happen, Madison's not a fan of this.
Yeah.
But
Fuck.
well, that is our people. If you've also seen it, if you've seen early screens, let us know. But this is the end of the non-spoilers portion, and then, like I said, later on, come back. We'll have the spoilers portion drop on Friday. And yes, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll be boring.